Good morning. Here we are. It's Saturday, and it's November 15th. Can you believe it? Mid-November already. And now we're going to be... Marilyn has created her menu in all its glory and hung it on the refrigerator. I'll take a picture of it and show it to you tomorrow or Monday, because our refrigerator had a computer failure. How about that for something I have to deal with on a basic Friday? Oh my God. I mean, do you know what it's like to empty out a refrigerator and a freezer and then put it all back into a new refrigerator? So, of course, you go through, you find some mysterious objects in the refrigerator. So, I got to calm down, epidemic here a little bit. Can't hear myself think, whatever that means. There's a lot going on inside. Yeah, so, anyway. I threw out, would you believe, about, I'd say those bags were about 40 pounds apiece, 3 of them, 120 pounds of things in that freezer that, what? What's this? Yeah, so, fortunately, it's hard for, I hate to admit it, but, you have a hand truck and you have you have some things that the handicapped can use. It's better to have a 34-year-old son to come over, and he had a bag in each hand. Had to be close to 100 pounds. He walks down to the chute and whoosh, that's the end of that. Comes back with a third bag, which is about 60 pounds. Big 55-gallon, real tough bag. It's called industrial cleanup bag. Yeah, from Home Depot. Cost about $25 for 2 rolls. I think it's got 50 bags in the box. They're rolled up in these big rolls. Oh, wait a minute! I have to. I have to do my full screen view here when I start off my Simulcast. Would you believe? Yeah. Oops. We have to switch. We have to swap cameras. There we go. So the camera's over on the right side. I'm just right of middle in every way. And then you can see I have my iPad right here, and it's projected. It's not projected. It's electronically fed by this little wire right here. It goes around over there, it goes underneath there, it comes over here, plugs into a port over in my handy-dandy MacBook Pro. If any of you are interested in, doing a podcast, you can get a MacBook Pro, 15-inch MacBook Air, actually, AIR. It's super thin. It's about the thickness of my pinky finger when it's folded up. And it's got a beautiful display. There, you can see me moving the screen. Yep. Oops. My clock is, there we go. Changing clock faces. There we go. It's 10:22. That's the exact time over there. This assemblage is a bunch of, some of them are old. This is the correct time, within 50 milliseconds. That's 50 thousandths of a second, according to Apple. And that's picking it up what the Apple has employed the download. I'm trying to think of what the right terminology is here. Apple has signed up with 12 satellites around the world. 12 satellites equally spread around the world. You cover the whole world. You can actually cover the whole world with less, but anyway, they signed up for 12 satellites that projects stuff down to, news, information. These satellites have these, I think they call them transducers. They're cone-shaped items about the size of my iced tea, my hot tea mug right here. Excuse me while I take a sip. Ah, so good. Made on my Keurig coffee maker. I get hot tea with a little half and half in there. No sugar. How about that? Speaking of sugar, how is my sugar doing? Let's see. I have an app for that. I have an app for everything. There it is. You can see it right there. See 127 up there in green? We'll press on that. There you go. Oops. Let's move it over so you can see it all. Yeah. It's I have a continuous glucose monitoring device. I'm tapping it. It's a little button that's about the size of a penny. And Abbott Laboratories, it's called Freestyle Libre 3. And you get 14 days of continuous glucose monitoring. So, and then I have another box. I have about 10 boxes between two different medicine cabinets, if you will. When you get to be 103, you got medicine cabinets coming out of your ears. I got more bottles of stuff. Oh my God. Thank God I was trained as a chemist. I can handle all these, bottles and pills, capsules, drops for this and drops for that. I heated up a little beaker of distilled water. I had a little envelope of pH stabilizing powder, mix it up, and then I pour it in a squirt bottle, a special squirt bottle that has a little squirter tube, a little tiny tube that's about that long, and you put it in your ear. You can only go so far because the little tubetini is only about that long. And Marilyn does it. I can't do it. There's a little cup you hold underneath your ear, and she's squirting the bottle. And yeah. Because you had this earwax, and it clogged my right ear to the point where I couldn't hear out of my right ear. So, obviously. So you put a couple of drops of stuff on there, which tends to soften up the wax, in case it's not soft. And then when you squirt this hot water, I put it in a microwave, in a carafe. I put the distilled water in the microwave, and I put it on for like 25 seconds. I take it out and I stir it with an accurate thermometer, with a probe on it. And you get it up to 110 degrees. They say they want they call it, the label instructions say very warm water. Not just warm water, very warm water. And the purpose in that is, since earwax is something that hangs around in your ear at 98.6 degrees, assuming you don't have a fever of some kind, then you squirt this stuff in there. I think I have some photographs. Not of the actual procedure. Oh, there we go. I'm in photographs already. So let's go. Whoa. All right, let's look at this many at a time. See if I can spot it. It was just a couple of days ago. Time flies. I think I did. Okay, looking. I take these, you see these snapshots as they go by. And I do these little snapshots so that when I'm talking with you guys, it reminds me of things to talk about. I think I'm getting close. While I'm gazing at these photos, here I know how to get to it quick. I got it on Amazon. Of course you get it on Amazon, you silly boy. Yeah, let's save for later. Let's see. There it is. See, it's like magic. My grandfather told me a long time ago, you don't have to remember everything. You just need to know how to find it. There it is. That is the, I don't know what this is it right here. These are other kinds of things. This is what I'm talking about. I should be able to, there we go. I was trying to get it the right size so you guys could see it without needing a... There we go. Now you can see the whole enchilada. Get out of here. There we go. Now I take this corner and move it over there. There we go. Now we're using the whole image, and you can see it. Let's see. There's the squirt bottle. There's the drops you put in your ears, 3 to 5 minutes before you do it, and then you do that and squirt. I can't do it myself because I can never get that little squirter thing. I'm going to try to find where that is. There's your ear, dirty. Oh my God. Ooh. Oh, there it is. You see that little tubatini that ends up like in the ear, which you obviously can't stick this big blue thing in your ear. There's little packets of pH conditioning powder. Here's a, turn it to a reverse. There we go. Reverse pinch. And you can see in the bottom of the picture, they give you a little supply of 3, 4, 5 or so, 6 of these little things. To be perfectly biological about it. When you're done doing that, you throw it away and you put on a new tip. Yeah. I had this done at the doctor's office a few years ago. I said, "Doctor, I'm having trouble hearing out of these ears. Seems like I have a buildup of earwax. Do you have a procedure here to remove earwax?" "Oh, yes. Come right this way." Just go down that hallway and see what that girl's coming out. Just turn right in that room. That's the second room on the right. So I walked in there, and there's a lady in there who was supervising the warming of this water, or this bottle was like in a half submerged in a bath, I guess, of hot water, so that the water inside the bottle would be warmed up to about 110 degrees. Very warm water, as they call it. I mean, it's not scalding hot water, because remember, they're squirting it in your eardrum. So, you know, and it has to be warmer than your body temperature so that the wax will liquefy, you know, like wax from a candle. Well, this is earwax has a lower boiling point, a lower point of melting. Probably the safer way of talking about it. And you spray that in there, and you know, this dirty water flushes out into this. That's that ear cup. See that in the background there? Yep. This is free, non-medical advice. And I know nothing of what I talk about. This is not medical advice. It's just go to Amazon and decide for yourself. But I paid, you know, I've been doing this every couple of years for, you know, 10 or 12 years. So this Wax RX, this is exactly what the doctors, they buy it from a medical supplier. You know, we're buying it from Amazon, Amazon.com. There's a little bottle in the palm of someone's hand. There you go, fast-acting, alcohol-free carbamide peroxide. That's what it is, 6% carbamide peroxide. Yep. And in 3 to 5 minutes, then, so you put these eardrops in first, and then you start warming the water and all that stuff. Get the water up to about 108 degrees, 110 degrees, somewhere in that range. I do it to 110 because then when you transfer it into the bottle, since the bottle is not at 110 degrees, the bottle tends to cool down the water to about 108 or 7 degrees, which is very hot. It's very warm, excuse me. Very warm water, they suggest. Yep, there's the ear wash system. This is exactly what they had in the doctor's office. So I made note of that. And then when I got home, I searched Amazon to see if they had such a thing. And of course, this popped up right away. And it cost $90, $84, if I recall. Yeah. Now, let's X out of that. X out of that. $34.95. It's like 1/3 of what I paid. You know. Yeah. So it's come down in price. You know, they have it on Amazon now, so they're selling them millions more for 1/3 the price. Everybody's happy. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that topic, but there you go, live on Amazon.com. Be there, be square. Anyway, so I have these pictures. Let's see, let's get out of here. Go back to pictures. Bingo. Let's get back to... Oops, going the wrong direction. Sorry. I'm scrolling as fast as I can. Bingo, there it is. November 15th. My blood sugar was 128. What is it now? Look at it right there. 123. So anything under 200 I mean, it goes up and down. You can see the chart. Can I do 48 hours? There's today and yesterday. See, it goes up and down, depending on. And you can see it goes up during dinner time, and then it comes back down. You know, up in the morning, and then comes back down. If you have a little tea and crumpet, whatever you happen to ingest. So when you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, you know, the sticking your finger with some kind of a needle, so you have a little piece of blood that pops out, and then you touch this litmus paper on there, and a reading comes up, a magic reading of your blood sugar in milligrams per deciliter. That is the formal language. What are you actually measuring? What's that 123 mean? That's the number of milligrams per deciliter. What's that? Well, you know what a liter is. A liter is about the size of a Coke. Excuse me. The size of a quart. A little early morning tongue tie. Yeah. So a liter is, about 35. I just lost X. So instead of this being a Travelcast, it's a Simulcast, because Twitter disappeared 22 minutes into this broadcast. Anyway, so a liter is slightly more than a quart. 32 ounces in a quart. Yeah, 33 and a half ounces in a liter. I have liter bottles all over the place. Nice soda-fi water. For vodka and soda, if I have any. Anyway, so getting back to 123 milligrams per deciliter. That means 10 liters. So 123 milligrams of glucose in 10 liters of fluid. 10 liters being the approximate amount of fluid that's in your body. When they say you bled out, that means, now you don't have 10 liters of blood in your body. No. Just think of a crime scene and someone has their neck sliced open or whatever. How much blood actually pumps out before you're what the police call it, he's bled out, or the surgeon, he's bleeding out on the table. Clamp that artery. Yeah. Suture? No, not that suture, the other suture. Well, anyway, so you don't have 10 liters of blood in your body. You have something less than that. Because 10 liters would be the total amount of all kinds of saline water in your cells and in your fatty tissue and all that. Now, your blood is a particular part of in your circulatory system, which is a sealed system, supposedly, unless somebody cuts it, and then it's not sealed. So if you get stabbed in the neck or something, your blood gets pumped out all over the street. Well, how much blood actually pumps out before the police say, oh, he's bled out? And I would say about 2 liters, maybe. 2 liters of fluid, tops. I think after 2 liters of, you pump out 2 or 3 liters of blood, I think you're like eyes shut and down to the count. Yeah, I don't think there's much pumping that's going to go on after that. Your heart might be pumping, but it's not going to be much blood. And 123 milligrams per deciliter. So my guess is the deciliter factor was used by the medical community because, on average, the typical human body has 10 liters of fluid, all kinds of fluids. Salivary fluid, blood. How about the blood? You got blood. So that's 3 or 4 liters of blood. And then you got 3 or 4 liters of saline solution floating around there. You got plasma. You have blood associated with your fatty tissues and all that. Teardrops, your tear glands, your salivary glands. So if you were to run your whole body through a wringer and squeeze out, every bit of moisture in your body, that's probably 10 liters of moisture. So that's why they say 124 milligrams of glucose, they leave that off, per deciliter, they leave that off. Because no one except Jimmy would remember that. and all your doctors and all that. I know enough about this topic to be dangerous. You ever heard of that? It's just enough to be dangerous. Yeah, well, I know enough to take care of 4 kids and a wife. Yes, Marilyn. Spectacular lady. I'm lucky because I'm less spectacular. Yes, indeed. Well, a few days ago we had dinner with Bill and Elaine. Yeah. Probably our best friend over here. You have so many really good friends. People that you can say things to where it'll not be repeated. If someone would say, Bill, this is not to be repeated. And then you tell Bill something, and guess what? Bill will not repeat it, period. It is embedded in his soul. Well, there are only so many people. My grandfather, Daniel Lawrence Bayless, told me that you can count your real good friends on one hand. No one has more than the friends on one hand. No matter how many people you know, there are only 5 of them or less that are really good, trustworthy friends. Make note of that. All right, so this is my little pictography here that you can see. Trying to size this so it fits in this half of my display, because I've got the live display over there where you can see me moving around. There's the correct time over there. There's the famous Shure microphone that Elvis Presley and many rock singers used. They hold them music and they're dancing around with the microphone attached to a stand, and they slam the stand. That's it right there. It's not connected to the system. I have my microphone here. That's right here. Yeah. I can bend this over. There we go. There's Jimmy in the crowd. I don't have this view. I have the camera tilted over this way. I thought it was more valuable to have the correct time than looking at my profile, which is nothing. Yeah. So, Brennan was working over at the Royal Palm Yacht Club and sent us a picture of this beautiful course. He's looking out the window of his clubhouse because they're setting up. Look at this. This magnificent display of all this stuff. You know, they have the stands where they make just like at the the Boca Hotel. It's a complete setup. It takes them a couple hours to prepare all the stuff that goes in these bowls. There's mushrooms, there's spinach, there's celery and onions, and I don't know what that is. There's a cheese of some kind. There's another kind of cheese. There's tomatoes, it looks like, in that bowl. A couple of cans of butane fuel. Remember butane? Methane, ethane, propane, butane, heptane, hexane, octane. I went through all the tanes. Aromatic hydrocarbons, they're called. Yeah, I was a chemistry, biology, dual major of chemistry and biology. Because I was a chemistry major until such time I wasn't. Well, actually, I continued as a chemistry major, but added a biology major to the chemistry major because I decided, let's go to medical school. I think that sounds like a good idea. What can be more exciting than learning how the body works? I'd probably invent something. The Wilson procedure. So they're setting up the tables, with the napkins, and the Royal Palm Yacht Club. The Royal Palm Yacht Club, I'm saying that correctly, the Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club. I think that's what it is. Because they have a beautiful golf course. I think I played it once. Some client of the bank lived there. There are 700, if I remember looking at the plat of all the lots in Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club. There are all the residences that float all the way around on both sides of the golf course as it weaves around this beautifully architectured golf course. There's a pin right there. That's a golf green with the pin right in the middle, or not middle. And of course they have a water hazard. There's a sand trap. And look at that. There's the Boca. That's the money shot. The Boca Raton Hotel. Standing up above the palm trees. I mean, people travel from all over the world to go to the Boca Resort. When I was a young whippersnapper of 34 years old, Marilyn and I engaged to be married. Marilyn, we got married at the Boca Resort. That's where we got married. And we had our little honeymoon. I said, why don't we have I think I suggested it. because I've been there a number of times. Maryland, I forget, but we had bank friends that we visited there, before we got married, so she could get an idea of the resort. It's really quite spectacular. I mean, people travel all over the world to go there. So what? I live 2 miles away from the resort. So we can get there and we don't have long plane flight. We can have a marvelous honeymoon right there at the Boca Resort. We'll just book a room for a couple of weeks, and or a week, or I forget how much time we took. Maybe it was 10 days. And, we got married right there at the Boca Raton Hotel. 44 years ago. How about that? Yes, sir. Around 1981. Yeah. Woo. Yeah, so 81 from 25, 44. Yes, sir, Bob. June 13th, at 4:30 in the afternoon. The Justice of the Peace, or I forget what the requirements are from the state of Florida. It wasn't a religious ceremony. It was a legal ceremony, hand on the Bible and all that stuff. And do you swear to whatever you do when you get married? You give out your rings and hug and kiss each other, and you are now Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. Yeah, oh my God. How spectacular that was. It was a small wedding. We had, my parents, her parents, her brother, her sister, her sisters. Let's see, how did this work? Her brother's wife, Jay and Janine, and Mr. and Mrs. Murray, and Marilyn and Jimmy, and trying to think if anybody else was there. That was it. And we've been married ever since. Yep. Never had a thought of not being married to Marilyn. It's like, what? How would that happen? I would be a very sad person if she up and ran off with some wealthy guy. There you go. Anyway, so Brennan was working the Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club. He's a chef in the back and makes all this marvelous food along with this fellow. And that's a guy on the TV. This photobombed by somebody on the TV. There's another TV on that wall, and there's another TV up behind the bar there. You can see a skirt, a pink skirt, and some legs, and blue jeans, and some legs. Don't know what that shot is, but it's on a TV. Large. Yeah. So that they take out the bar stools. I'm trying to think how that bar would work. Yeah, the bar stools have been removed because these tables are inserted there so that they can have this nice setting all the way around the bar. Yeah, see, that's a real bar. But the bar stools have been put in another room. and they have an active bartender there. So they're putting glasses of ice. Brendan knows all these people by name because he works with them. There are 10 or 11 or 12 of them, I think. I don't know why I know that number. I could be totally wrong. I'll ask Brendan what the staff is there. But I think he runs the kitchen basically at this clubhouse. They have 2 clubhouses. This is one of them. This is the one that's really close to the golf place where you first tee and the 10th tee. And they come through here when they're between the front 9 and the back 9 to get, a beer or a soda or something. Put it in the golf court as they ride around for the next 9 holes of magnificence. Yep. There was some noise about the Tesla stock this week. There, I see it. See TSLA, Tesla right there. This is pre-market. So this is like Thursday. Pre-market. This is early morning. It was at 382. It dropped 28 points on Thursday, and it was on its way down another 19 points in pre-market trading. So, and this is right after their shareholder meeting with all kinds of exciting news. I mean, God, they're going to be making 1 million robots a year, and you basically, the retail shareholders, even the institutional shareholders, and they're not high technology people. They know a lot more than the average person about technology, but when you buy shares of stock, you don't get a private tour through the factories, and you don't know as much as you'd probably like to know when you're investing your hard-earned money in a company that has some very big shareholders and tens of thousands of retail investors, they call them. If I bought a share of stock or 2 or 10, I would be considered a retail investor. Now you have individuals that represent millions and billions of dollars that they invest in a variety of their favorite companies, and some of them have Tesla stock in their portfolios, if you will. And they would be considered institutional investors. So you got the retail investors, which is like Jimmy, and then you have institutional investors, and then you have insiders, like Elon Musk, for example. He owns about 13% of all the shares. So of the hundreds of thousands of shares out there, I don't actually know what the share count is. It's lots of millions. He owns 13% of the stock, which is a big chunk of the stock. The shareholders and the board of directors who recommended it, and the shareholders at the shareholder meeting this past week, have approved a compensation package for Elon where he can earn another 12.5% in round numbers of the stock. So he has 13. And so he gets up, if he earns all 8 tranches of this incentive pay plan, where he can earn hundreds of millions of shares, but he has to achieve certain very specific, like doubling and tripling the, instead of the, right now, Tesla's about 1.3 trillion in market value, meaning that if you took the number of shares outstanding of everybody that owns any shares of Tesla, Elon and all the retail investors, the institutional investors, add them all up and multiply it by 401.99. That's you're going to get about $1.34 trillion. Okay, we can look it up right now. Let's do it. That's a photo of the page like Friday morning. So where's my stocks? Right there. Bingo. All right. See Tesla right there? I can touch it. And there you see $392. And it's, well, the current, there you go, see it updated. After hours trading. So it closed at 4:05. So it went up a little bit on Friday. Not much, but it's at 4:05. And in the after hours trading, which means Friday night from 4 until I think 8. I think it's open until 8 p.m. Yeah. So, the stock exchange closes at 4 p.m. Bam. But then you have aftermarket trading, where you can go in and, buy electronically or sell electronically your shares based on the aftermarket valuation. And there it is I can't pinch it because this is a real website. Yep, this is Stocks. The app called Stocks. That's not too hard to remember. But you see here, the market cap, if you look right above Tesla, you see the E and the S. Let your eyes go up a little bit and you see MKT. Whoops. Oh boy. Back to stocks. You see, it's a touch screen, it's don't touch, just point. MKTCAP. That stands for market capitalization. And that is the number of shares times the 405.42 cents. You multiply that, 405 times the number of shares outstanding, the market cap's 1.345. Now we could go backwards on that and take the market cap of $1.345 trillion, that's a lot of zeros, and divide it by 405.42, and that would tell you the number of shares outstanding. We will not do that math, if you don't mind. It's tens of millions of shares outstanding. Yeah, that would be shares outstanding. So if you divide the market cap by the value shown in after hours, you would end up with the number of shares outstanding. Not shareholders, shares. If you go through some of this data somewhere, it probably tells you how many shares outstanding. If I touch Tesla. No. Anyway, so that's the latest news. There's a lot of activity with Tesla. A lot of buying and selling the stock. This is a day. Let's look at the week. So it started up at about $450 a share, and it ended up at, now it's at $405. I can touch this, I believe. Yeah, we can go right over here. So sometime around the 10th, Monday, the stock was trading at like 447 in the afternoon, early afternoon. Started to go down, and it goes up and down. Active trading. A lot of buyers and sellers of this one. So let's just say 445, and ended up at 404. So it lost, for the week, it lost $32 a share. And you divide 32 by 404, we can do that math. Got my trusty calculator here. Let's clear it. So we take 32 divided by 404 equals 32 divided by equals times 100 times 100. It dropped 7.9% in the week. That's the week of all this shareholder news and all the pomp and circumstance with the shareholder meeting and all that kind of stuff, and whoosh, lost 8% in this value. It always happens. There's an old saying in the stock business. And believe me, I can write a book, what I do not know about what I am about to say. But the saying goes that, you sell on the news. You buy on the dips and you sell on the news. Yeah. So, in other words, the news is good, the stock goes up right before the news. Sell your shares, because on the news, they sell on the news. Yep. So now in aftermarket trading, this is from 4 o'clock on Friday to now, which is 11:11 on Saturday. The 402 has risen to 404, so it's up $2. I can touch this, this live one, and then it changes to the market cap of all the companies in this list. This is a list of my stocks that I closely watch. Wow, Disney at $105 a share. So the stock market closed at 47,147. Yep. Now if I touch that market cap figure, that tells me the percentage gain since after the closing. Remember, it closes at 4, so from 4:01 p.m. Right through to like now. I don't know if you can buy and sell stock now. I think that the aftermarket trading closes like at 8 p.m. I think. Anyway, so you see it's down 0.2%. Now if I touch it again, we get the actual value in dollars and cents. So Tesla is up $2.36. $2.36 in aftermarket trading. Market cap, see that? 1,435 billion, which corresponds with the number over here that I showed you earlier, where it says MKT CAP, market cap, capitalization. The number of shares outstanding times the most recent number of the value of each share. That's 404.35. Divide one by the other, and that tells you how many shares are outstanding. So it's up 0.59% in aftermarket trading, up 2.36. That's how this Yahoo Finance. To me, it's very convenient. See, you can hit day, have the day go. Here's the week. You can see it started up here, and it's went down as low as I was watching it closely right here. Look at this. It opened, bam, 386. See that sharp decline right there. And then it jumped back up, and then, and you can see as I slide this left and right, you can see the time of day above. It's like every 10 minutes there's a plotted point on this graph. 404.35 is the close. Yep. Down $32 for the week. About 7.9%. We did the math. So here's some, here's what, there's a picture of a Tesla showroom in a mall. This is like an outdoor mall, looks like, because it seems like that's a curb right there. A step up. So Tesla does not have dealerships. They don't have a network of dealerships where privately owned people have a contract between Tesla and themselves to buy and sell their automobiles and have a service center. The typical situation that's with Honda and Lexus and General Motors cars and so forth. BMWs. You got a BMW dealership and you got a Mercedes-Benz dealership and so forth. Tesla has no dealerships. Nope. Now they may have a what they call a retail showroom, like right now. People are waiting, or they're looking. You can see they're like a number of people that are accumulated in front of the Tesla store. And they have, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars on display in this 2,500 square foot, store front in a mall. This looks like it's in an outdoor mall setting. And at nighttime they roll down a screen or a shutter of some kind. Or doors slide over. Lock it up at night. So the street says a legendary fund manager has a surprising take on the big Tesla stock drop. Yeah. All this exciting news that comes out in the shareholder thing, and stock, you get slammed down, 8 or 10%. Jeez. Go figure. Well, that's it. They sell on the news. I'm telling you. That's the expression these investors know about. Tesla wants its American cars to be built without any Chinese parts. I don't think it has. I think the only Chinese part that's, on the table with Tesla is batteries. So they could be buying battery packs from China from time to time to meet some of the high demand periods in Tesla's life cycle. The factory is spectacular. I mean, it's quite amazing to watch. I understand from sources close to Elon and the public information they provided. A Model Y pops off out of the factory every 45 seconds. Another Model Y comes off the factory line. He is saying that the robots, the humanoid robots that they are designing, let's see if they have the robotic anything in this pictorial thing, which you can look at your leisure. There's the so you hear stories 2 days ago. They were writing about the RoboCab. I'm looking to see if they have anything about the humanoid robot. There it is. Tesla doubles down on AI. This market says its stock has gone harder to recommend. Musk says he gave OpenAI 4 Teslas, millions in rent money and grants. Okay? He's got they follow him around like, here's its humanoid robot. This is version 2.5. The version 3.0 of humanoid has a hand that's, I can't zoom in on the hand, but I knew there's some robotic stories. So in case you just flew in from Saturn and haven't been on the planet, you haven't been on Earth recently. Tesla calls itself a robotics company that happens to make cars, meaning that the brain that's inside of the Tesla vehicle, and you notice there's a screen, there it is. You can see that screen right in the middle there. And this person has 2 hands on the bottom of the wheel, just kind of resting on the bottom of the wheel. Because the vehicle, the autopilot is on, and it'll keep the car right smack in the middle between the lanes. You want to hold onto the wheel and you can do it yourself. Yep, you sure can. That's what we all do. But if you own a Tesla, there's a shifter right on this side, on the right side of the steering wheel, behind the steering wheel. The little, on this side you push a button and the windshield wipers go. And on the right side of the steering wheel, you got a thing which changes the gears. To reverse is like up, and drive is down, you know. You drive the car like it's a golf cart. You put pressure on the pedal and it goes faster. You lift up on the pedal, it slows down to a stop. If you want to lift your foot all the way up, the car will stop. It's not like jamming on the brakes, but it'll roll to a stop pretty quickly without squealing the wheels, of course. Now, if you need to stop more quickly, you can touch the brake pedal if you need to. But you rarely ever do, because you learn how to use that single foot driving with you. It's just like a golf cart. You push down on the accelerator, it goes fast. Faster, depending on how you want to maneuver your car in traffic. You lift up on the pedal and it slows down. Now you're driving the car and it's coming up to a red light. You lift up on the pedal and you learn how much lifting on the pedal you need to get the car to stop at the traffic light without going into the traffic and getting smashed up, with cross traffic. So you need to know that's how. Now you can drive it traditionally where you push down the accelerator pedal and then switch feet. Not switch feet. You switch over to the brake pedal when you need to brake, rather than this push down, lift up business. You can just push down and then put your foot on the brake pedal as you need. Marilyn and I have both learned how to single pedal drive. That's what they call it. You push down on the accelerator to go. You lift up on the pedal to stop or to slow down, either way. You don't need to slow down anymore, then you just put a little more pressure on the pedal. All of a sudden you want to go faster, you push down on the pedal. Now, if you push down the pedal all the way, like zero, and you need to get going right away because traffic's going to slam you in the rear end, you can push down on that pedal, all the way, if you will, and it goes very fast. It's unbelievably fast. It's. I don't drive that way. I drive like a little old man, Yeah, with the. I don't mean, like you got the wheel up against your nose. No, I don't mean that. No. But I am over 80. God darn it. I drive okay because Marilyn right next to me, she'll kick me in the butt and say, "Come on, get with it, get up with her." She doesn't do that because I keep up with her. I know how to drive. I drive, as good as anybody. I keep up with traffic. I don't slow down traffic. If it's on the highway, freeway kind of thing, and they're all going too fast, then I'll get over in the right lane and drive as fast as I feel like it, or as not fast as I feel like it. Because the rain can be pouring down, and I'm not going to be over in the left-hand lanes going at 90 miles an hour. That ain't Jimmy in a hard rain. No. Ooh, even on a sunny day, 90 is not in the picture. 70, if it's a 70 mile an hour road, I might go 76. I might go 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. But I will not go 20 miles over the speed limit. In other words, if it's marked at 70, I'm not going 90. That ain't happening. Yeah. When the police catch you doing that, they get bonus points for the 90 and over crowd. A lot of people are zipping around that highway pretty good. I'm not one of them. No, I know I can. I've experimented with how much you actually have to push on the pedal in order to get those kinds of adjectives attached to your driving skills. Not Jimmy. No. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go back to my photo. So, see, now this is a photograph, so I can reverse pinch and zero in on the Tesla stock price, which some people are not happy with. They expected the stock to go to 500 and 600 because of all this exciting news that's come out of Tesla. Yeah. Nope. Went down to 380. And it's scaring the retail people like crazy. But, actually, as the story goes, you can drill down and read these articles. The retail investors, kept buying the stock as it floated towards 400. The retail investors, meaning the non-institutional investors, the individuals, the loyal ones to Tesla, they kept buying up the shares as they dropped, in value over the week. For every seller, there's a buyer, right? And so the retail investors kept the stock price up. I got a whole bunch of clips. Here's another graph. Total shares. This is just the shares that voted in the proxy statement. And the average total votes and the total issued shares. So the blue column here is the total shares outstanding, and that's, I guess, 3,000 times, what's the multiplier? So that's probably 3 billion shares outstanding. That's what that 3,000, that's probably 3 billion. Everything is, times 100. So with the shareholder vote, if you see 75%, you see the light blue line that's cutting across. 75% of the shares outstanding voted for the propositions that went before the board on the shareholder day. You notice the next series of images I have here. These are photo images of the New York Post articles. This is Tuesday, October 28th. This is 1 week to save New York. Election day, all this stuff. They don't give a chuck. These New Yorkers are tough cookies, I'll tell you. Look at Schumer. He needs a memo to say good morning. That's what someone told me. Cop out. Yeah, this guy dropped out of the race. Adams. He's the current mayor. He dropped out. He said he apparently couldn't raise any more money. So before you not so fast. There's a headline for you. Not so fast, buddy. You're 41% and I'm 34%. We're not done with this race yet. So the headline is not so fast, buddy. Yeah, with 2 days to go. No thank you, Mom. Yeah. Obama refuses to endorse Zohran Mamdani. Not so fast, Mom. Keep the commie out. Leader of the free world. Oh, yeah. I'll give you everything is free. A new era in New York. Oh, yeah. That is a globe, the World Trade Center, 1933, I think. That was built, by U.S. Steel Corp or whoever built that according to the design of the architects and so forth that are responsible for that World Trade Center, emblematic, huge globe that's really big. The unveiling of the 1930 World Trade Center was held in New York City, and that's the globe that was built. It's still there as a monument to the World Trade Center of the 1930s. It's in the backdrop of him giving a speech. I don't know why, but because he thinks he's going to, he's going to be the leader of the free world, according to this headline, because he's given everything away. Yeah. Big blue busts. The Socialist Network. So now we're post-election day. He's already won. And, you see the headlines there afterwards. The police farce instead of police force. Oh, yeah, because, this guy isn't, the socialists, communists, they're not really into law and order so much. Oh yeah, you lock them up, you throw them in a hooshkow for, they let them out the back door every night. They don't keep them overnight. So they cycle them through the system and get them out. A pilot program that had community safety workers answering 911 calls rather than the police. One of Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's key platforms didn't work. With 60% of the calls being too dangerous for social workers to go. Anyway. Okay. Trump faces heat from MAGA base on America's first agenda. Yeah, the liberals are looking for some connection between Trump and Epstein. And they're looking for a little black book that according to all the main sources, before the election, after the election, there's no little black book. All this stuff was on the text messages on phones and all that. You know, they won't write down a little black book. Everyone's got, an iPhone. They book all the appointments, and all these guys that were, going to go over to Epstein's special private island that he owned. They fly right into the private island on his private jet. And the jet that Bill Clinton apparently, I heard, I didn't see, I didn't investigate personally, but news reports had it that Bill Clinton, took like 22 trips over to Epstein's private island. They got records of the flights, on the private jet. Somehow or other they got the flight manifests. There's certain requirements that a private commercial pilot and the crew, because it's like a jet. It's like a DC-9, some kind of a jet that could take 20 or 30 people, let's say 30 people at a time, or to his private island for a long weekend or whatever. Bill Clinton loved it. And they reportedly had a bunch of beautiful young ladies accompany these, wealthy types that Epstein knew. There was reports of even where the girls were underage. That's the wrinkle. Bill Clinton hasn't been in office for a long time, so there's no political backdrop against that. But if they could tie a sitting president flying over back and forth to Epstein's private island of den of iniquity. Oh, they'd love those snapshots. But didn't happen. That's the 14th, the lottery. I think, let's see, Mega Millions. When does Mega Millions play? Is that today? I think I have a way to know that. I go here, go there, and press. I have a little app. The screen's too bright. If I turn the screen down, you can see it better. Let's turn it down there that much. Yeah, see, now you can see. This camera lens is so sensitive. So what's the story? It's not bright. I can't see the screen. Gotta turn it up. Sorry. All right. So it looks like, from just scanning this, that the Powerball has a drawing today, and the jackpot is $546 million. And the next draw for Mega Millions is November 18th, Tuesday. So someone must have won. More than one person has won the $1 billion Mega Millions. I never got a chance. Remember, I told you my refrigerator broke. So I never had a chance to go buy a ticket or two. So no $1 billion Jimmy. Oh my God, what a mess that was. Remember, I told you we threw away. It had to be 150 pounds. Every time I tell the story, the amount of pounds of that. It was, let's just say 40 pounds a bag, 3 bags. 120 pounds of stuff that was in the refrigerator and the freezer, mostly in the freezer. That's just, I looked at the bag, something, and it expired, like in 2020. There's stuff in the back of the freezer that, it's just there for like ever. It's like 5 years old stuff in the back of the freezer. Yeah, when in doubt, throw it out. That was fun. So that's how I threw out 120 pounds of stuff. I actually wore gloves. I had to go get the gloves because, the stuff is like at -6 degrees, and there's only so much of that your hand can take. So I put leather gloves on like I was up in the North Pole. Anyway, so now we got a brand new refrigerator. Threw away all the stuff and found some stuff. Mostly had to throw out a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, that took from 10:30 in the morning till about 4:30. That was 6 hours of taking stuff from this, everything on top of the refrigerator. All these little things that are magnetically attached to the front of the refrigerator. We don't just have a "Hi, how are you" on the refrigerator. We got everything up on that front of the refrigerator. Now Marilyn just put up the menu for Thanksgiving. She just published it on the refrigerator today, or yesterday, on the new refrigerator. She christened the new refrigerator with the actual menu. Oh yeah, she's got this stuff charted out. Now, Jimmy, get your shit together and go get the stuff we need for Thanksgiving. We decided, it was a 3-member board that decided that we're going to have one 28-pound turkey, not two 14-pounders. Last year we did two 14-pounders and spatchcocked them, laid them flat down. It's really quite a methodology there. And so we ate off of one 14-pounder, and the other 14-pound, we just wrapped that up and sent that home with the boys so they would have leftovers. They ended up with a whole turkey, a whole 14-pound turkey. The smaller turkeys seems like the meat was was tender and nice and everything. So, the turkey, we brine it, which means we submerge it in salt water for, about 20 hours, 24 hours in kosher salt. All right, I think I'm done here. It's 11:46. Surely Marilyn's back from her nail appointment. She has her nails done in the morning. I don't know if I can find her. Oh yeah, we have ways. Where is find friends? There we go. Where's Marilyn? Yep, well, Marilyn's here. 101 Plaza Real South. If she was over at a nail place, she'd be not here. She's 5 feet away from me as we speak. All right, I'm done. You all have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you Monday morning.